Let's start with company update.
So I think the biggest thing that happened this week was that video. 215,000 views. That's nice. So a lot of people are excited about the external GPUs. I think that the LLM software will be pretty good when we launch the hardware. So it'll all work pretty nicely together. We'll have like some benchmarks for the LLMs that we put on the Chestnut page. Chestnuts are external USB GPU dock. Yeah, that's the main upload. We're gonna sell a product for the masses.
People still need to buy a GPU.
Well, of course. I'm gonna sell you a GPU. And don't buy an Intel GPU. That's a ripoff.
Yeah, I think most people are saying the speed is bad because they don't know how to make it fast. I don't know if we should use that for default or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like it's our fault. Like nobody should have to know that you have to just put JIT beam equals 2. But I think also that like even with JIT beam equals 2, it doesn't give any feedback. And then debug equals 2 is too spammy. So I think we just need to change everything to like compile the kernels beforehand and then like give a progress bar that's compiling the kernels and that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I think it would be okay to make it the default for like serve, but then we would have to just give progress bar.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's also like not many kernels anyway to be fast. Or hopefully it's fast.
It's not that fast. I mean, this is another problem. Like JIT is really slow. A beam is really slow because it spends a ton of time on stupid kernels.
Uh-huh.
Like it spends a ton of time on kernels that spill, and then like it's not really easy to know if they're gonna spill. There's no like easy way in UOps to really detect that, and then it takes forever to compile them, and then it takes forever to run them. So the JIT beam with assembly will be fast. Like if we have an assembly, if we have a RDNA assembly backend that just asserts if the register allocator says sorry, it doesn't fit in register allocator. I think that the kind of the problem is like there's no way in like HIP or something to say don't, maybe there is actually. Actually, is there some flag we can pass to LLVM to say don't spill registers, just fail? Yeah, I think if we could configure LLVM to bail out early, then also we should look into just if no one's really looked into it, but we could make Beam 10x faster. And then I feel a lot with 10x faster and a progress bar, this suddenly becomes like really usable.
Oh, when are we going to launch this thing? June?
Yeah, probably June.
Okay. We can probably think more about this between after MLPerf than between and before the launch of that to improve the usability and app.
Yeah. I'll be back in San Diego soon.
Okay. Okay. Next is my item. So Tensor U up mixing. I moved lots of stuff to mixing already. There's this big up mixing that is basically a new tensor.py with its all the functions. So now there's like 500 lines there. So now the one of the annoying remaining thing is const, and because const block a range and a range blocks everything that we do with indexing and stuff. So I'm still like thinking about different ways to do it. So the issue is unique const, and we previously need unique const because if we set the const to be the weight, then we don't want to link these tensors. Otherwise, accumulating gradient is wrong, and it's just annoying because it's very hard to know this when you write it. But then because UP is immutable and cache, so it's also one of the important invariants that I use is when you build a tensor and you call a method on that tensor, the underlying it should be equivalent to on the underlying UP, you call that method, because eventually we want tensor to be a wrapper of the underlying UP so that we can it will be like a very thin layer. So I have been using that invariant to move like add and get item and things like that to making sure it's the same. But this is just not true for now for creation, because I don't think we want the UP.full to like be different every time we call it. So one direction I'm thinking is just move the unique to later when we try to mutate the tensor, because really the difference between tensor and UP is we can mutate tensor and not UP. So maybe there's a way to do this unique thing later and do it somewhere in the sign, but not too sure about this yet.
Yeah, I was never I've never been happy with the solution that we have in there now for this. Um,
Yeah, so
part
another annoying thing is for now, if we call tensor.arange on the same item, every time it creates a different UP, because the underlying the tensor.ones that we use to build arange are different. I don't believe that's intended, because arange, if it's integer, we never need things on that. But
yeah, I mean, part of the problem is like gradients.
yeah, uh, so there are two things. One is gradient and another is assign, because we also
Yeah.
so assign. So anyway, I'll find a way to do this. That's really the blocker, and after a range is moved, I believe majority of the methods can be moved as well. There are something I just copy into mixing, like for the comsum, we have a two-stage comsum that's using some underscore com ALU function. I just copy that. For another thing is pad. So pad is annoying because tensor.pad we support like 5 different modes of that. So for now, the one in mixing is the simplest one, basically just pad, the calling the ops.pad to the UP. Then there's a helper function in the up mixing that supports the one with a const padding. Basically, it rewrites into a where and an add. Uh, most of the time we use this as a helper, so I find it much easier to just add that as a helper in the mixing. Then all other fancy pad for now is kept in tensor. Later we can also move that to the mixing, but those are like really like the leaf ones. Most of the ones that cause that item or accessing the underlying buffer, not going to move that yet. Do we want something like that? Do we want U up the item?
No, no, definitely not. No.
Yeah,
That's another thing that yeah. So only tensors can resolve anything.
yeah. So the issue is we also have some other functions that use the item and use its value to do things.
Well,
So those
that's a much bigger problem.
no, I mean there are some like front end API that just use that, and I don't think moving that into mixing is a good idea. So those would also be kept into the tensor.
No, yeah, yeah. Anything that involves scheduling is kept in tensor.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I mean,
Uh,
I'm not even like, where did all the code go? I see Mixins is only like 700 lines, and yet Tensor is only like 1200.
oh, there are like 5 different mixing files. Are you counting them all?
It says the whole directory and the 6 mixin files is 700 lines.
Uh, okay. We also probably only lower tensor by 500. It still has like 2000 something.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
So
I like the dot.
I tried very hard to keep the diff minimal. The issue is tensor was very compressed. So every time when you, for example, when you try to because now it needs to it cannot some of the convenient method built on top of like tensor only calling things from tensor, and there's like some decompressed from that. Overall it's like net neutral, I hope. So
I mean, it feels like a win even. Yeah. No, this is a great this is a great effort. I think the mixins are super clean.
yeah. Okay. Anyway, my issue, I will post if I encounter anything that I'm not too sure. I think short term, A range and anything that depends on index. I think it's the only one. Then, oh, another slightly annoying thing is diff, but that I would fix separately. So pad is simple because pad can keep the same API. Diff is slightly different. We kind of want the UPath version to be the simplest, just checking the diff. But then there's another variant I really want to keep, but it's kind of hard. Is everything created by the UOP, the same method in UPath should match that? But sometimes that's just not true. So
Can you fix
you can
size?
say again?
Size. Size is different on tensor and UOP. The tensor one is correct.
Oh, sure. Oh yeah, I checked this. I just don't know what this max shape and max draw shape was for, but sure.
Um, yeah, so I mean, shard shape is just the shape of the shard if you're on a multi. And then the max of that is if it's a symbolic shape, it does VMAX.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it'll be fine. Okay, I will see the color of this. So previously we have like UUp, prod, and sum. I just renamed those to like uprod and usum so that it doesn't conflict with the mixing one. Something like
Yeah, I mean,
that.
it'd be nice to see what we can clean up on top stop high too. Like, what if that could move to mix-ins? What if this is just trash?
Yeah, sure.
Um,
Okay. Yep. Uh, yep. That's pretty much it. Next, Georgia stuff. I just put LLM app and new USB driver.
uh,
I was just having while summarizing what happened last week, and I put these as items.
yeah. I did the USB driver is done. I'm very happy with it. Again, it was one of those things. It was kind of like the UPack compiler. It's like, it's kind of a side quest, but it's really the firmware is really good now. So like I was just testing, I was just fixing emulator bugs, and it's super easy. Like we have the tiny box here in Hong Kong, and I have a RDNA 3 GPU on USB 3. And I just put like dev equals USB plus AMD to do all the RDNA 3 hardware tests, and like you don't even really have to think about it. So I felt like with the old USB, it was like something that you always had to think about. It was hacks that firmware could get in who knows what kind of state. But yeah, all that's just fixed. It's the firmware is so simple. I mean, you just spend days figuring out the one register that you had to set, because none of the registers are documented. But it's done. It works pretty well. It's very clean API compared to the old one. Um,
Have you tested on Comma 4?
no,
It's been very unstable.
really. I don't have
Yeah.
a Common Core. I have a Common 3X. I can try it. What do you mean? What's unstable?
So at least we have a couple chestnuts here that on the old firmware will at least show up over USB. On the new firmware, dmessage will just print cable is bad.
Oh, that's probably a pretty easy fix. I mean, the firmware is very readable. If you just like just throw GPT-5.4 at it, and say like fix the USB bring up on this thing, and I bet it'll do it.
Yeah, but overall, it just seems worse on comma 4s. But it's
Yeah.
also unclear if this is a comma 4 issue.
Yeah, it's definitely
I
weird.
mean, I don't know. I have 3 computers I've plugged it into. It all works way better. I'll try it on the Com3X.
I don't think we've noticed this on 3X. This seems almost
really
4
tested
specific.
3X.
Yeah, we haven't really tested on 3X.
Yeah, I mean, so the whole like the USB enumeration path is all written in the firmware. And there's a lot of like registers you can set and PHYs and timings and
Yeah. Sometimes it's been coming up at USB 2 speeds.
Sometimes it just doesn't come up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a comma 4. I don't know what you want me to
Yeah.
do.
Okay. Yeah.
But like, you can read the firmware. It's very readable.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Robbie can look into this. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I also don't really have the kind of stuff to like look into that. Like,
Yeah.
the way to probably like, do you have a USB 3 analyzer?
No.
I mean, Comic can buy one of those. Like, spend a couple $1,000s and buy like a professional USB 3 packet analyzer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like see what's going on. I mean, I don't really even know what does cable is bad mean.
Yeah, it's very
What's the
unclear
cur-
to us too. It
I
seems
haven't.
better.
You know what?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it might be? Maybe it needs to PD negotiate.
We were wondering if it was that. So if we plug it into specific hubs, like USB-C hubs, it'll work.
Oh yeah, that's probably PD.
Yeah, it might be PD.
Yeah, because we also with the USB-A to USB-C cable, like you're not gonna get any PD if you do that.
Yeah.
And that seemed to be more consistent.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of hacks. You're still using the Qualcomm Comma kernel too.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of patches to the USB in there too.
Do we know if their like mainline project has USB working? No. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would like. So the firmware does nothing for PD, and I'm not sure if it's like advertising as PD. So I have a lot of the PD stuff reverse engineered. The problem is it's very hard for me to test because the emulator, the FTDI and the device brown out when it PD negotiates.
Yeah.
And then my emulator breaks. So yeah, that's another thing that'll be fixed in San Diego. But yeah, I mean it's I don't think it's a bug in the firmware.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna PD sounds like the most likely thing, especially if you say hubs fix it.
Some hubs fix it, but it's also not consistent through a hub either.
What do you mean by consistent? Like what doesn't work?
Like sometimes you plug it in and it doesn't show up, and then other times you plug it
No.
in or you change how you plug it in and it'll work.
I mean, I've seen that too. All the chestnuts I have here can only be plugged into one orientation.
Interesting.
Okay. I didn't know.
Oh, I mean,
No one else has mentioned this at comma, but I guess it must be an issue.
what do you mean? I mean, maybe the stock firmware fixes this. Maybe there's some bit I need to set to detect when it's flipped.
Yeah.
I don't know how
I
much
guess
of the
I'm driving on old firmware.
Yes.
yeah. So what you can do is you can have you run my emulator at all?
No, not yet.
Okay, so go on the custom firmware repo, and there's it's in the Claude MD, and it tells you how to run. It's a complete emulator that will emulate every MMI. Like it'll run the firmware on the computer and emulate all the MMIO rights. So if you want to see, and then it outputs this trace file. And you see what you can do is if it's enumerating on stock firmware, you install the emulator, see if it'll enumerate on the emulator. If it does, take that trace file, put that trace file in Codex, and say, hey, this one enumerates, this one doesn't. Fix it, and it'll
Yeah.
fix it.
I see.
So that was kind of my process for developing all this stuff. I fixed some PCIe instability doing this. So the RDNA 4 has better PCIe than the RDNA 3. That was just tolerant of a lot more crap. So I there was all these like PHY tuning registers. Yeah, so I just enumerated the RDNA 3 on the stock firmware, dumped the thing, and like there's this whole like page of tuning registers you have to set. So then I just had Codex put it in.
Yeah, we'll try that.
You get the emulator working though. It's really easy. Like the emulator's in a really good state.
Cool. Yeah, check it out.
The level of effort it put into I got that emulator working so well that it could emulate a real NVMe drive brought up by the kernel. So like you could put an NVMe drive in the PCIe port of the Chestnut and then plug that into a computer, and then it shows up as SDA, like dev SDA. That was the only way I figured out the DMA. So
You also mentioned somewhere about like cogen, rangify something.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I got Quen 3.5 merged into the LLM app. There's two things I'm not happy with about it. But it's not BOTG's fault. So it's putting all the state in a single tensor, but there's really two states in the gated delta net. But if you try to do after two stores, this doesn't work. If you have like after buffer and you want to put like two stores there, this doesn't work because the ranges are being created on the after, not on the store. Which isn't right. Like we've done a lot of, now that we've gotten rid of assign, like some of the assigned things became store and some of the assigned things became after. And like Rangerify is making a big assumption now that like the after is on the store to the same buffer that the after is on.
Say that again?
Okay, so like you have this
Oh.
construction. You have this construction of
Oh.
like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like it's kind of broken, but then I realized that like I kind of just don't really understand the Rangeify code. Like I think a lot of it is just kind of crap that's in there for who knows what kind of reason. It's really slow. And it doesn't have to be slow. So like you can basically at every store after, you can kind of like treat it as a new Rangeify. I don't know, Rangeify is just kind of wrong. Once you have store and after.
I see.
So yeah, I gotta kind of think about like what the right way to do that is. I kind of just want to write the slow Rangeify, and like clean it up, and then we can think about making it fast again. I mean, indexing is small, but like I don't know, Rangeify is just all crap. Like it doesn't do anything. You don't need any of it. Like indexing kind of does something, but like I don't really know what Rangeify does. Yeah.
Ooh.
And delete it. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, the LLM map's looking pretty. It's pretty good and usable now. I mean, you should try it. I think I just got. Let's see if it came up. Is my Minimax server working? I had. GLM 5.1 add support for Minimax.
Uh-huh. Does it work?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it fast?
Well, we're about to find out. Just finished beam searching. Cool.
Yeah, I remember last time I tried, like after a certain context they become really slow?
I mean, it's not really. It's yeah. We should do like whole tests. Oh, wow, 34 tokens a second minimax.
Okay.
Oh, and I asked it what model it is, and it said I'm Claude Code, an AI assistant.
Great. Everything is Claude Code.
Yeah, so I think I can push that. The minimax support is pretty simple, and it runs on a single MI300X.
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't fit on a small GPU, but yeah, I didn't get around to doing a multi. You got to do it a little carefully how it supports sharding the GGUF files. Um, but yeah, this sprint I want to add support for GLM.
And
And
remove
then
dtype.vec.
oh, dtype.vac. Okay, so dtype.vac is a whole other. Before I do dtype.
Now image is gone. Oh,
I yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. Oh,
okay.
oh.
Anyway, think about it. We can move on.
Well, it's either dtype.vac or rangeify. I like these LLM things because like you like make progress on something and it like does something and maybe it's actually useful.
Yeah, using the library is easier than refactor the library.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
No, I'll work on dtype.vac
Okay. Next is for
and
this.
rangeify. Dtype.vac and
Rangeify.
rangeify.
Great. Okay, this is next.
Yeah, so with God's speed upgrades, both the server and the UI are like 2x faster to render. It came from just looking at Llama and realizing some open squared behavior that's gone now. The Llama iteration cycle time is 2 minutes and 30 seconds in master.
Sweet. 3x better?
Yep.
Yeah, I like the kernel analysis too.
Oh, the ChatGPT one? Yeah. They're still like, we don't really know where the kernels come from. It's like you have to look at the source code, and you have to like trace it back to the Python. But I think LLMs are pretty good at that. Like it just uses the client, figures it out.
I mean, can we not just like paste debug equals 4 into the LLM?
It's pretty much the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, like what
And
if you just,
requires the debug code for afterwards, the replay of debug codes for.
well, I mean, it would be kind of be interesting if there was like a way to take the pickle file and just reconstruct the debug from it.
Yeah, that's very easy.
Yeah, and like that's what I would imagine. Like you kind of want the like because right now, you're saying that it takes like 1.2 seconds to bring up the thing, and this is slow, but the solution here is probably not to reduce time on the call to viscli. The solution here is probably to just make less calls to viscli. Like, yeah, if you just have something that can take in the pickle file and output the whole, output all the kernel source.
Put in a cache, text file, whatever, and the LLMs are very good at that.
Yeah.
So for the agentic loop, I have basically Codex wrote a hip kittens FP8 quantize. That was the slowest kernel in Llama. It's like around 1.5 times faster than Beam to 2x faster than Beam. Because it's doing like the DMA the trick from loading directly from globals to LDS without going through registers, doing stuff like that. The code is not clean, but like it works and it's faster than what it is in master.
Yeah, I mean, I like who did all the movement of everything to the flat llama, the flat.
Double
This one?
spread. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy that that stuff's out of Tensor. I guess that's another reason Tensor got smaller.
Yeah, LLMs
Um,
can just like plug in a tensor custom kernel. They struggle a little bit with gradients and like multi. You have to really push them to do them right. But the main kernel they do as well on their own.
Yeah. Can you get small repros of things that are creating stupid copy kernels?
I'll try. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think this project can definitely continue. Yeah, just improving our tooling and getting this. We need to match AMD's time. We're spending. Oh, we're 3 hours now. How'd you do that?
Yes, I did a bunch of changes. Yay.
Nice.
So FP8 native was a bit of a change. I added this all reduce cast thing that does the all reduce in the precast D type. So when you do sum, it casts up to float and then does the all reduce in float rather than doing it in B float. So it's about double
You
speed
fixed
there.
that. You put the
Uh,
overdose in B float instead of float.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then FP8 native saved a little bit. And then now we also only do the ABS max for the FP8 scaling. It is done locally per GPU rather than doing an all reduce for the max.
Yeah, so let's finish up this. I mean, I think this is the right idea. Let's keep working on Woes Parrot. What sort of tooling will help you continue to push this below 2 hours?
There's some annoying stuff. So I spent a lot of time today trying to track down where NaN was coming from. This is kind of like the biggest thing is I make a change, like especially with the small D type stuff, I would make a change and then the model would start nanning and I would have no idea why it's nanning. Like I can't easily trace down where the NaN is coming from. I don't know how easy this tooling is.
Can we save the contents of all buffers?
For the cases that you end up finding where it's coming from, where did it come from?
So some of the cases where I was passing float32 into a B float custom kernel, and that would break it. There were some where there was an initial weight that I quantized, but then for the master weights that I didn't rescale back.
How can you pass? Can you pass like things in different D type to a custom kernel?
Seems like you can.
Because that's some. I mean, if it's like statically we can find, we can probably assert that.
Yeah, that we can probably find.
What we're typing for. Yeah, have you been using the profiler loop?
I have.
Yeah, any suggestions to make it more usable or?
I think the agent handoff is already pretty good. Like I can just give it to Claude Code and be like, what is slow? But I need to give Claude Code a lot of pointers because it won't really use Viz CLI.
Yeah, you have to tell
Yeah.
it the read needs this. It's just,
Well, can we get that out of extra? Like, can we make that code high quality enough that we can move it to Viz proper?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think do that. I mean, the current README in Viz is total trash.
Oh, I tried merging the readmes. All LLMs fail miserably because they put viz equals 1.
Yeah. Do we have a is there like a flag? Is there like an environment flag or something that like won't run the server if it's an LLM?
TTI, TTY. Like there's something in sys you can check if it's an interactive shell or if it's not. But then the problem
Yeah.
is that if you like, yeah, that will work. That will check for LLMs. So I'm trying not interactive.
Yeah, I mean that sounds good. Yeah, it sounds good in general when you have a non-interactive shell, but I don't think we actually want to run the we don't want to run the server.
If you pipe something to head or stuff like that, it's also non-interactive.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that probably all matches. I think that makes a lot of sense, right? Like, so instead of running the server, I mean, you can use -1 and -2, but you can also just say, whenever you're in a non-interactive shell, just don't run the server and have it print something saying, "Oh, I didn't run the server. I'm in a non-interactive shell."
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, I think that's a good fix. I think the goal with this project isn't just to like to understand what the high end of agents can do. Like a lot of people, like when I posted that Minimax thing on Twitter, people are like, George, we don't have AGI. You're not going to be able to one shot that. I'm like, dude, I'm not downloading, the beads and Gastown and running agentic workflows with agents. I'm getting the LLM and I'm putting in, yo, make this fast. And if the LLM can't take, yo, make this fast and do the right thing, I'm out. So yeah, I think we gotta focus on not just the high end capability with LLM, but imagine what some guy on his computer who downloads TinyGrad is going to do. You're going to download TinyGrad, you're going to write something, it's going to be slow, and he's going to open Claude Code and he's going to be like, "Yo, make this fast," and then figure out what it does. And then if it doesn't do the right thing, we have to figure out how to like put hints in the repo so that it does.
We probably also want to respect no color.
Yeah, I for a while I always thought we should either respect no color or if it's a TTY not print the ASCII the like ANSI color codes. I think Claude gets confused by this pretty.
Yeah. I can also make TTY not do that. No color is respected now. That's fixed.
Okay.
Yeah. I think just respecting no color is enough there. I want non-interactive shells to have color.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Like I want to be able to like if I pipe it to a file, I want the color in the file when I cat the file later.
Yeah.
But yeah, sure, no color should definitely be respected. Like globally,
Yeah.
we should just change color to not do anything when it's no color. Like that should be in helpers, not like at some other place. You know, I definitely don't want that to be non-interactive, has no color.
Mhm.
Love color.
Yeah, Claude is good at putting no color. Kim is not good at putting no color. I get confused. But
I see.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, some of the stuff we can also like. Some of this stuff can also be in the MD in the Viz README. I think if it's actually in the repo, it'll read it more. I think also like I like to avoid things like Claude MD, because my belief is that you should focus on whatever's good for humans. As humans, we're a lot better at empathizing with humans than we are with machines. So we should just focus on what's good for humans. And the same thing's true for humans, right? Like JIT Beam is bad. Like the reason these LLM people didn't have JIT Beam is because we don't do a good job of exposing that. So like we used to have this saying at Comma, like if there's a button, it's bad, right? Because people are gonna not press the button when you want them to, and they're gonna press the button when you don't want them to. So why'd you give them a button?
yeah, the only good thing about Claude MD is that it's preloaded.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm okay with like a 2-line Claude MD that says read this, read me, and read this, read me.
That's good.
But yeah, focusing on continuing to improve any sort of tooling we can for Llama. If there's anything we can do about the NANs. Can we add a flag that like, you know how we have that like flag to check at the runtime to compare it to CPU? Would it help if it just like aborted if a kernel had NANs?
If it printed the kernel, yes, actually.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Let's do that. Let's add that feature. Oh, but yeah, continuing to improve the workflow for Llama. I can feel the speed improvements too. They're great. Like I'm loading, just like rendering like MNIST and stuff. Like great. It like works.
Okay. Since we already talked about Llama, Wasper, you want to finish everything first?
I mostly said most of the improvements. I wrote a fused RMS norm because it turns out you can't. I don't know if this is a function limitation or just a math limitation that to save RMS norm and not rerun it on the forward, you have to have a custom backward. Unclear to me. But
I have a small example I can look.
it seems to save now when I wrote it this way.
Okay.
Why did it say for 3 hours, 16 minutes that we're only getting 17% MFU?
I think we are only getting 17%. We're getting 17%. I don't know what the MFU number that people report is. Is it like BF16 MFU? Like if they
Is your
train
model
FP8, do they
BF16?
report? We're FP8.
Yes, it should. Oh, that's FP8 MFU.
Yes.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean our flash attention is not FP8.
Yeah.
It's kind of mixed. But yeah, if we can beat AMD, that's incredible. Can we beat them?
Something they do that we don't is their attention backward is supposedly also an FP8.
I see. Also, that 3 hours. Do we actually have a run at 3 hours, or we just have a
I'm
thing that
doing
says 3
one
hours?
right now,
All right, cool.
and we'll see.
Also, I believe they have the latest logging library that is for 6.0. We should try to run that too and making sure everything looks good, like logging wise.
Yeah, at least when I did the logging stuff, I wrote it against MLPerf logging 6 RC2.
Okay, I can double confirm later, but that's probably the one that we should use because we did submit last round and maybe they changed something in terms of the names and like logging fields.
Yeah,
So
at least. Yeah.
once you have the log, just what I did last time was like I just copy for however times we need and run through our log checkers to making sure everything is correct.
Yeah, at least I wrote it against the version that had all the checkers for 6.0.
Okay, sounds good.
What's that 3-hour one? Can you just post quickly the profile.sh output?
Yes.
I'm curious what percent we're actually on. What percent is gems and what percent is ah,
That top one
see.
looks like Amex.
Yes.
I can fix that. Yeah, I'll merge my custom kernel.
Okay.
I actually
I'll
try it
just
on
get
my
that.
custom kernel, but I can't fix that.
Yeah, I mean, let's not go too crazy with custom kernels, only if they're like clean and isolated. And that one needs to stay. That's not like that's like the best kernel is no kernel. Those Amaxes are like required.
Yeah, we have to do delayed AMAX scaling, because FP8 doesn't train.
Got it.
Yeah, I
I
tried very
think-
hard on that kernel. AMD uses atomics. I found atomics very contending and racy. But if you like make it a 2-stage, it's actually very fast. It's faster than atomics. So, yeah, it's pretty
Oh
good.
yeah, I see what you mean.
I read AMD's code. They use some very complicated atomic thingy. And there's not even like an atomic float, so they use like an int version. You do casting.
There's definitely an atomic float ad. I use it in embedding backwards.
There's not a max.
Yeah, that might not be.
There's no max. They just custom wrap of it. We just like do it all in LTS.
Okay, looks good. Next is for Nimogen.
So the Mellanox driver was merged last week. I just merged graph, edited to graph and trained Cipher with it. So yeah, I think for bigger models, I need to land the linear refactors first to make the disk copies faster. So for the
You got CFAR across multiple machines.
yeah,
Awesome.
and it's yeah. So yeah, so for the exec item removal refactor, so I fed it beam to YOPS and also have a PR to. My current plan is that I'm going to land the run linear PR, which actually will avoid using exec items and all these runners in the schedule path when I'll need to refactor JIT and all the graphs because they heavily use these runners and the exec item as well. So yeah. So for USB, do we have anything for me to test in CI? I mean, like the custom firmware on the commas.
And that's what I was saying earlier, that I was trying to set one up today and it just wouldn't come up.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
We will
But we have
get
common cores in
more.
CI.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get more test nets on Wednesday. Comma is just, their line is completely full with Comma 4 production right now, so we can't run testnet boards.
Got it. Yeah, okay. No huge rush on that. I don't think it's blocking anything really, unless it's blocking the Jeffrey column.
Yeah, I'll also take a look into these framework machines. I'm not sure I'm really concerned about the. I've already been looking at these, and I'm a bit concerned that, as far as I understand, like your message, that actually this issue persisted across different runs. I mean, the MMU issue.
No, so I get this on my computer sometimes too. Something will just break. It's reproducible in a Strix Halo, and it doesn't seem to go between runs. It seems to just be that the MMU will get corrupted for like the runner job.
Yeah.
So like it's just that local page table. It's not like there's some global thing. And
Okay, yeah.
I think it might even reproduce without multi-process. Just like it seems like some page table corruption.
Okay. I know. I'll just try to. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll try. I don't know if it's like some AMD features again, like wafer store or something like that. But yeah,
Possible.
I'll try
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't looked that much into it. I do know that when I do PyTest N12 on my computer, I'll hit it maybe 1 in 5 times,
Yeah.
and then nothing persists. If I do it again, it works.
I wonder if this is worse if we have graphics stuff running. Because I was trying this on the frameworks here with no graphics stack running, and I would hit it like 1 in 20 times.
It happens in CI a lot, though. There
Yeah,
shouldn't
this
be
is
any graphics.
what's very confusing me. Because if I log into the machine and I just run the exact same command using the virtual env that the runner job set up, I don't hit it that often.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I think you're just getting lucky.
Potentially. But I did run it on both of the frameworks, and I would hit it about 1 in 20 on both of them.
I mean, as long as you can hit it 1 in 20, we still need to fix it.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, if it happens to be more common if it's launched some, like, I don't know, maybe they're, like, nicing the process or something, and it's some kind of race condition. Yeah.
I'm not sure
like-
if we can have any race condition from our like runtime. My guess is we can just supply the wrong addresses, but the kernel should just fill it. I mean, wrong sizes for these buffers, like wafer store buffers and all these things. But the kernel should validate this, and they actually do validate this. So I mean, we don't really control these page tables. I mean, okay, I'll take a look. No.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not even an MMU fault. I just know that it says MMU fault.
It's really also concerning that it's like in the CPF, which is like the prefetch. It's actually the thing that prefetches these PM4 pockets.
Yeah.
So it's not like the actual execution.
I mean, yeah, maybe we like aren't syncing the PCIe right, or some cache invalidation we're not doing, or who knows.
Yeah, but okay, I'll just take a look. Yeah.
I mean, it seems maybe vaguely related to the kernels that get the wrong time. There's kernels that like do their timing incorrectly, and I wonder if it's like not clearing the cache correctly for the timestamps or something.
But if you know any command that can repro these kernel issues, can you post it?
Yeah, I used to be able to repro it with MMA peak. Not sure if this is still true. Let me see if does MMA peak still use AQL? I remember I hacked and I made it use AQL. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, I'll try that.
It seems to be working now. I can't hit it. I can't hit it without AQL. So I don't know. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see a big training job across 2 machines. Yeah, and then we should start thinking about how we can we start seeing if we can do llama across 2. Think we can get llama across 2 for Melper? I guess those aren't Mellanox threads.
AMD hasn't gone back to me yet. I poked them again Friday. Should probably send another email to them.
Yeah, can you email them again? I don't know. How much should we try to fix it ourselves? How much should we try to reseed it? I think Igor's in town if you want him to do it.
Yeah, Igor's here. It seems pretty complicated to reseed.
I mean, Igor's a smart guy.
We can see.
Anything else for round Imogen?
No.
Okay, great. We have covered llama already. Next is the new dev thing.
Yep. So yeah, I mean the dev syntax is I mean it's all there. The things that need to be done with respect to that are just, sort of integration stuff. So for instance, like you want to have like everyone actually uses the arch. So I was looking into a little bit of how to get that to work with CPU today. And then also, making mock GPU an interface. I think the right way to do this is to say like, okay, well, you have, mock AMD and mock AM and mock USB. And this is for in the AM case, obviously. And those are all separate interfaces. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we like the syntax. If there's any strong feelings about the syntax or stuff we want to change, let me know.
Is this syntax documented somewhere?
I believe I wrote it up in docs. It's like there's a docs page called environment variables, I think, and I think there's a section there. I'll double check that it has everything, but I think it's all there.
I also think we should consider better error messages for when you type it wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, like when I tried the mock thing, it just says like no interface available, or like here's another one where the error is list index out of range, right? Like ideally it should yeah. You know what, yeah.
I saw some guy had this error list index out of range also. Someone posted that in an issue. Obviously that's not a good error message.
Yeah, I mean, this is also kind of related to like a problem we've had for a long time, which is querying the number of GPUs that are available.
Mhm.
Wherever dev is resolved, we need some generic way. Take a look at GPU burn
Mhm.
for an example of something that needs fixing.
Okay.
GPU burn just has an environment variable called GPUs, but we have to be able to like say device sub AMD dot get available, GPU count or whatever normal API is.
Yeah, for
Also
sure.
so I don't want to have to do a context var for the abstractions for thing. I want to be able to say which compiler to use in the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, so this seems like something that might change a lot with the exec item refactor, like this whole pipeline. But yeah, definitely it should be possible to put that in the graph somewhere. But right now, it's just like the way that the part where you choose the renderer, I believe is in get runner. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe this can wait for after that refactor. I also see you merge this explicit types thing. Can you add a test to CI that tests the import speed of all the autogens?
Yeah, I will do that. Yeah, it's like twice as fast with that change. I mean, obviously it depends on what you're running it on, but yeah, the big thing there is that it got rid of init records or whatever I called it.
Yeah, I
And
mean, you can't have something that's O of n with. You can't have
yeah,
something that's doing yeah.
yeah. It turns out like the big issue there was actually evaluating all of the types. So now it doesn't do that anymore. I just put the types explicitly. And so that's also a big one. Yeah, so that's nice and fast. The other thing with regards to C types is the that issue that Armand had opened about it being slower is no longer the case. It's just as fast as back when the thing that he was comparing to, so it's no longer regressed. Yeah, and apparently it's fast enough for them. Yeah, so that's good. The other thing that came up was that they're having some issues moving everything to a big, like moving all their models to a single JIT. And there's an issue that he just opened, I think last night, which it goes into more detail about what the issue is, but it's something to do with like the memory planner. Like he says, when he turns off the memory, when he runs with no memory planner, it doesn't have this issue. But I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough to know exactly what the issue is. But interestingly, he says it only happens on Qualcomm. Anyway, I have to look into this a little bit more. But yeah.
Cool.
I think that's it.
Sounds good. Oh, I just remember something. Can we put the whatever fastest gem we have for RDNA 3 on CI benchmark?
Sure. You want to add? Well, so we have AMD copy matmul for.
I know, but
Uh,
last time when I tried it, it's not as fast. I don't know if it's because I missed a flag or something.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I can look into that this print. We
Yeah,
want to add.
yeah, because I want to try to see like how good our tooling is to write those stuff, but I
Yeah.
don't even know what's the fastest we have now.
Did I merge the? I have an RDNA 4 one that's pretty fast too. I think I merged the RDNA 4 as a one.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
also,
bank conflicts.
It has bank conflicts. I know. Yeah, I've tried to fix them, and
I added PMCs. I added PMCs to the CLI. Codex can look at them.
the one other thing I forgot to mention is read-only structures. So I have a PR open for this, but it's kind of dangerous because what you're basically doing is you're taking a read-only memory view and you're turning it into a readable memory view. And so if you had if this was a memory view over something that was only mapped as prot read, you can obviously cause a segmentation fault. So like if you check this on every time you access your fields, then you end up making your code much slower. The question is kind of just like,
So
is this
what's wrong with the
how
seg
useful is
fault?
this thing?
What's
Sorry?
wrong with the seg fault? What's wrong with the seg
I guess
fault?
it's fine. It
Yeah.
would be nicer if it was asserted, right?
I don't care that much.
Okay.
If you try to write to something that's read only and it's seg faults, that seems totally reasonable.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Anyway, the big question was whether or not, like, Nimmelgen, you had mentioned this previously as being something useful. So if it's useful for you, then I will merge it. But otherwise, it does make like the memory views like logic more complicated. So I don't want to merge it if it's not useful for anything.
And it's already everything working fine, but for readability in some places, maybe it's just for readability. But
Okay.
I know I don't. I also tried to do that, and I just saw that it's kind of not like one line change. So I just
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the problem is that you're doing this Python API thing where you gotta like that now that you're using Python API, that means that you can't put to memory view and memory view address and from memory view. None of those can be in helpers.py anymore because they import other stuff from Tinygraph.
yeah. So I wouldn't say that it's really high importance to bring this in.
Okay. Yeah, if it doesn't make a huge, yeah, the thing you had mentioned that it might make USB faster, but that's not true.
I think my implementation just in some macro benchmarks was faster. I know
Okay.
you fixed a lot of stuff, so maybe it's already it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Yeah, then maybe forget it then.
Anything else for the meeting?
That's it. Gonna start to get users. The users are coming, guys. We gotta be ready for users.
Oma does seem
Come
interested in using a symbolic batch with Onyx content.
Ah. Symbolic
For
batch.
for which? For their Triton servers?
Unclear, but they were asking about this.
Symbolic from Onyx.
It was Mitchell asking about it, so it's probably Triton servers.
Yeah.
Just ask him to open an issue or something. Have Kama update Tinygrad version? Are they happy with the latest stuff?
I haven't heard any complaints. Usually they're pretty vocal when they have complaints. I will double check that they actually updated, but they, as far as I'm aware, they have like a script.
Yeah. It seems to be like 5 days ago, so seems new.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Great.
It was updated 5 days ago.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, no, they have a script that runs every week and automatically updates their dependencies. And as far as I understand, we should be always updated.
Cool. Okay, we're getting users. Great. We will probably do release after sometime.
Yeah. We should also think about our comments later, but we should also think about our dependency on the internet. Like right now we're pulling headers down from the internet. We probably shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty annoying because these files are really, really big. I think we need to strip them somehow.
Yeah.
Before.
I don't know. This is just something that has to happen before the next release. I'd like to think about, but otherwise.
Well, okay, I think that's it for this meeting. Thank you, everyone. See you next week.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.